Most creators don't fail. No, it's not because they lack talent. They quit because they get discouraged. They're not getting the momentum that they think they should, and they give up too soon. And as you probably heard, YouTube is not a marathon. Well, it is a marathon. You just got to get out there and keep making videos. You've got to keep refining what you're doing. You got to keep getting better. And tonight, we're going to talk about that urge to quit. We're going to talk about what you do to persevere and keep going. And I am so excited because my guest tonight, I've been trying to get him on the show for a while here, and you guys have probably heard of him. What? Or if you hadn't, I'm going to be upset with you because you really should have heard of him. But anyway, everything's acting crazy. There we go. Try. I hate when things go a little crazy right at the beginning of the show, but it makes it fun, right? Here we go. 24-hour boss, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I am doing great, man. I am so excited to have you on the show tonight. I'm enjoying the stuff you're putting out there right now, these tutorials that you're putting out there that help both creators and just, people just using the YouTubes, just trying to get them going around. And I like some of your Canva videos that you've done that do different tutorials that help people, make a pretty little social media things. So I'm terrible at social media. I'm horrible at it. So I just have to do that. So I'm going to just jump right in. What made you almost quit? What made you almost quit YouTube?
So let's see. Well, I guess I got to backtrack because I guess before starting YouTube, I started doing my content. I guess I wasn't even calling it content creation, but I started just kind of doing a podcast where it was just audio. And, I would record with a guest or pre-record by myself. And I would do it kind of behind the scenes. So it wasn't video. So I was just, because I didn't want to be in front of the camera. I was, kind of shy. I didn't want to be in front of the camera. So I thought, I just do a podcast behind the scenes and do it that way. But then, of course, as technology continues, it's like, video is like the way. And so it's like, okay, I got to figure out a way to get my videos out there. And so I finally started doing videos, recording videos, and I started doing live streams. Just to, I guess, make a long story short. But, and of course now, I'm doing more and more YouTube. But I would say as far as quitting YouTube, when you first start, you really don't know YouTube. It's like, you just think, well, I just put some videos out there and I think, surely people will start subscribing and they'll start, just, joining and, commenting and, and this is kind of what you think, but it's like, you got to kind of know YouTube for that to happen. And, when you when you put a lot of time into a video and then, of course, you get 2 views, that's kind of discouraging. And so I would say, just looking at maybe the feedback of your video, looking at the algorithm, not getting subscribers that you think you should get, that is kind of discouraging for kind of newbies to YouTube. And so I would say, just things like that where, you think you put your best work into a video, but then it just gets 8 views and you're like, okay, what am I doing wrong? And of course, it's more to it than that. And that's just something you got to learn to understand. But I would say, just looking at the feedback and thinking that, you're going to get a bunch of views maybe in a video because you put in so much hard work. I would say that would those are some of the things that make you want to quit, YouTube. Or, I've experienced that where it's like, okay, is this really worth it? So I would say that.
Yeah. For me, the origin story of how people got started on YouTube. How did, what prompted you to do your very first upload or your very first live stream? What got you started on YouTube? What's your origin story?
So I started, like I said, I didn't know much about, YouTube and just putting up videos. I had to watch a how-to video to even start the YouTube channel. So I would say just first, of course, starting the podcast and wanting to upload my videos to YouTube because it's like, okay, if you got videos, the best way for videos to get exposure is to put them on YouTube. And so that's what I started to do. Just started to kind of upload, some of my podcast episodes on YouTube, and just kind of see, where that would go. And of course, the more I would do uh the podcast, because as you remember, as I stated,
Mhm.
I was doing audio, so I would have to kind of create like a thumbnail for the audio to kind of make it a video. And so I then decided, I said, you know what, I came to a point where it was like, okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and try live streaming, because I had never done a live stream. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna try to do live stream, because I had already kind of recorded some guests and did videos with them, but I didn't do lives. And I said, you know what, I wanted to do this because it was a challenge to myself. So I said, you know what, I think I'm gonna try some live streams. And I remember putting a post out to some of my friends. So I got some friends that are creators, and I put a post out, just said, hey, look, I'm gonna start doing live streams, and if y'all want to be a guest on the show, let me know. And I got some feedback, and of course, I started doing live streams. I was just doing them like every Saturday, interviewing some of my friends, and I had different guests that I would interview, and that was cool because live stream, as you know, it challenges you, and whatever happens with live stream, you just got to kind of roll with it. But that really kind of helped me to, I guess, gain some confidence, because live is live. And I do like the fact that with live streams, you don't have to edit. You just go and record it. But that's kind of where I guess you could say I evolved from kind of doing just pre-recorded video to live stream. And now I love, of course, live streams, because it's great, because as we can interact with our audience, and we get lots of feedback, and it's just it's a different experience. So that's kind of where I guess you could say I kind of started, to where now I evolved to doing like more live streams now. So
What speaking of evolve, kind of what was your setup like when you first started?
so when I first started was okay. Of course, I was, like I said, I was doing audio, right? So my first setup was, I had a nice, it was, and I still have this microphone. I don't use it, but I still have this microphone. It was a great microphone. I think it was Sennheiser, I think. But it was a great microphone that I used, and it had great audio quality. And when I switched to going to video, or trying to do video, I just found a 1080p live stream camera. Actually, I got it at Costco, and it was great. It was just 1080p, where I would record my episodes. Didn't have nothing super expensive. I want to say it was probably around $60 for this live stream camera, but it was great. And I had a nice microphone, and it got the job done. And that was all that I was wanting to do. Just make sure I could get the job done, because I think a lot of times when you start out, you'll think that because you'll start seeing other creators and how great their setups are, and it's like, man, anybody gonna watch my setup, because mine is not as good as this. But I think as you continue, you'll learn that, what, a lot of the more expensive, if you don't have it, I'll say,
Yeah.
the more expensive equipment is not needed. And I've even put videos out here recently where it's like, look, all you need is just your phone, because our phones have a lot of them have 4K quality. So you
Yeah.
just need maybe some decent mics, and you can go from there. But that's what I started out with, just a nice microphone. And then I went to a live stream camera that I got at Costco. To now I'm using, I think it's a Canon
Mhm.
Canon mirror. I want to say a M Mark II, I think is what I'm
Yeah, the
using now.
Mark II.
But
Yeah, that was the
yeah,
first one that
so
was the webcam. Yeah.
yeah. And so, as you go along, you kind of upgrade. And of course, there's more, I mean, as you know, this stuff can get expensive. So, but, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what I started out with.
Yeah. I I started off with a Logitech C920 webcam that made me
Yeah.
crazy, because if the lighting was bad, it would not zoom. It would keep doing this zoom thing, like zoom in, zoom out. It'd make you crazy. And then my first mic was a Blue Yeti because I'd heard that was the podcasting mic. Of course, that was before Logitech got a hold to it. So it was actually a good mic then. It wasn't the one that when they ripped all the parts out and shipped the cheap one out. So I feel like I got an OG one. Okay, I still have it because I love that mic. So yeah, but you're right. You get that bug. You keep wanting to replace everything in the house. I'm like, I want to replace. And did you have that thing where you suddenly thought, the only reason I'm not making it is because I don't have the right equipment? Did you ever have that feeling?
Say that again. You said, did I ever have?
I'm sorry. That feeling where I don't have the right equipment, so that's why I'm not doing. That's why nobody's watching my videos.
Yeah, well, I would say yes. Well, I would say, yeah, there was a point where, you kind of look at your videos and it's like because, you're thinking that I'm not getting maybe the views that I want, or I'm not getting the exposure, I'm not getting the subscribers. You'll start to think that, well, maybe I need to upgrade my equipment and maybe I need to do this. And if if you allow yourself to kind of go down that rabbit hole, you'll be trying to chase that, thinking that, yeah, I need to have better equipment or better this, when it could be just tweaking, like we talked before this. It could be the hook of the video, it could be the title, the thumbnail, it could be some things, just that simple. But when you first start out, those are things that kind of cause a distraction, I could say, or a setback, because you're thinking that, because you're looking at maybe some of your other peers out there where it's like, okay, they got some nice setup, they got this, and if you allow yourself to go down that, you'll kind of get to a point to where you're thinking that this it's not working because I don't have this type of equipment, when that is not the case. Because I've seen people where they have their phone. Actually, I have a friend. Just he does Sunday schools, but he started out recording all of his episodes just from his phone. That's what he started out doing, just recording from his phone. And I mean, he produced some nice videos just from his iPhone. And of course, now I think I want to say he's got over like 20 something thousand subscribers, right? But he started out with his phone. And so that just shows you that, you can't just look at, maybe it's my equipment, or maybe I need to get more expensive equipment, when that may not be the case. So, but yeah, I
Yeah,
have experienced that, of course, because, a lot of things you just don't know. And, you just learn as you go. And, it's part of I guess, the learning curves.
yeah. I'm using my iPhone as my camera tonight. So
That's pretty clear.
I
That's
mean,
that's really clear.
while I got some, my streaming software, which I love, Ecamm is just the bomb. I am
Hmm.
using my iPhone. I had a fancy camera, and it started acting up, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna scale down a little bit. I'm gonna go use just my iPhone as my camera, and so people, because when I tell people, just use your phone. I've got another channel I
Yeah.
do that's a vlog, and all I use is my iPhone. I don't have a mic in it. I use the mic that's in the phone, and that is my mic, and it sounds good. It sounds good.
Yeah.
I don't know why it sounds so good, but it does. I love it. So you don't need
Yes.
fancy gear. It's
We
you
do
know,
not.
it's if the audio is good, people will forgive a little bit of bad video. So good
True.
stuff. Good stuff.
And you know what? If you hadn't have told me that you're using an iPhone, I wouldn't have known. So those are things people don't even have to know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that just shows you the quality of it. But that's really
Yeah.
clear. You're coming through really clear.
Yeah. Um, did your family and friends support you when you kind of first started this?
Ooh, that is a good question. So I would say my family, yes. Yeah, I would say, okay, so I would say it's half and half, right? So you do I did have, of course, family that supported me, and some friends, of course, that support you. But I think all of us, or I won't say all of us, maybe, maybe maybe this is a poll question for the audience, but I want to say that it is true, when you start something, that you cannot be surprised when people don't support it, or I would say people that you think would support it don't support it because I want to say I don't know if it's just a natural response, but it seems that when you do start something, people just kind of they just I don't know. It's like they go dormant and maybe not like or subscribe. And I even did a video. It was kind of a funny video, but I was just sharing with people like this is the easiest way to support your friends. And I showed them how you could like a video, and I went through instruction. Just press the like button. You can subscribe to your friend's channel. You can comment. And I went through doing this, but I did experience that where you sit and wonder like, okay, well, why wouldn't people that I know, why wouldn't they like or support or just a simple share or even subscribe to your channel? But I think all of us experience that, and I think for some of us, I think because it happens because we are being active and being busy, and I think it's just that some people they may not they may not be, I guess, as passionate as you are. They just I don't know, they just kind of not become as passionate as you are about what you're doing. And you'll find sometimes that maybe some that are further away from you or outside of your crew, your circle, you'll find that you'll get more support from them. So I did experience that. And I would say to anybody that, start something, that's kind of a normal response where you may see that some that you think are that would support, they kind of go dormant and they may not like or subscribe to your channel. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, I used to let that bother me, but now I'm like, you know what? My channel's not for them anyway. They're not making YouTube videos. If my content's about making YouTube videos, or if my videos about a certain piece of software, if they're not using it, my videos are not for them. My granddaughter gets a kick out of watching me on TV because she thinks that's funny. But other than that, that's my one fan, and my wife's very supportive. So she lets me do this crazy thing. So that's the only support I need
Yes,
is let me do this because it means a lot to me. So that's some good stuff. What
absolutely.
what has been the hardest part of your video creation journey for you? What are some challenges you've run into really made you feel like you got stomped down?
Mm, I would say I guess one of the hardest parts is, and I think we kind of talked about this, where or we talked about it kind of beforehand. You kind of you put your heart into maybe a video. You created maybe a nice thumbnail. You did a lot of editing, and I mean it's spot on where the sound effects are triggering on the different effects that you have in the video, and you come back and it's like no views, or it seems like you stall with subscribers. I think that was a kind of a low thing where it's like, why am I not getting subscribers? And I think going into YouTube, it's a lot more to YouTube than just putting a video out there, even if it's good. um Putting it out there and thinking that because it's good, you're just going to get a lot of traction. And a lot of times that's just not the case. It may not be the reality of that video. I think with YouTube, it is kind of like it's a study, right? And you have to figure out what YouTube likes. You have to also, and I think this is one of my issues, was being more consistent. I felt or I found it was, or at least I thought it was difficult to try to come up with videos to be more consistent, and where I didn't realize that what you can create shorter videos to be more consistent, because as editing a video is like that is time consuming, and that's probably one of the worst things about doing a video. It Editing can be so time consuming because you got to put all these pieces together. You got to have the thumbnail, you got to have the intro, you got to have the closing, and all of these things, and you want to make it a nice video, but editing is time consuming. And so for me, I found that if I had like a if I had like a 15-minute video, it's like I gotta edit this video and make sure it's all together, because even after you edit it, you got to go back and watch and make sure everything is on point, make sure everything is together like it needs to be. And so I found it difficult to try to create videos and keep up, because I thought that, well, I gotta have at least a 10-minute video, I gotta have at least a 15-minute video, when you can be effective and efficient with a 1-minute video, with a 30-second video. And I didn't realize that early on, with my YouTube creation. Now I see it, but that was one of the things I think that kind of snagged me, I would say.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. So, to that end, Walter Strong out there, Walter Strong, the huddle guy, he wants to know, how do you get through that initial phase of live streaming with low engagement of people watching your live? So what do you do when you go live and there's hardly anybody out there? What's your attitude? How do you push through that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I would say that when you go live, the idea is to you just go live, right? And you can't think about or worry about who's going to be watching, because one of the great things about the live is that even if nobody shows up, because I'll say this, you do have some people that will try to wait till your live is over so they can watch it. You have those people, right? But one of the great things about going live is that even with a low audience, the idea is for you to just put the information out there. I would suggest just concentrate on the value that whatever it is that you're about to talk about. Concentrate on that. I'm about to share with my audience how to do this. And when you think about that, is that I'm putting something valuable out here for my audience, and you don't have to wait till people show up. I've seen people do that, and I think where they'll say, "Well, I'm going to wait until at least 5 people get on." Well, what if 5 people don't get on? You can be waiting a long time. But not only that, people's attention spans is short. So if you're going to go live, just go live. Talk about whatever you're going to talk about. It could be 5 minutes, and that could be effective. That could be efficient. One of the things I think that can help when you go live is to try to get the audience to engage, ask questions. Maybe you can even start out with a poll, right? Where you have a question that you start out with, and try to make it something that's gonna get the people's attention, and something that that'll like we talked about, have a hook where it's like, okay, yeah, they this is making them engage. And if people start to comment, of course, you can recognize them. People like to be recognized when you go live. So even if it's 1, if it's 10, it doesn't matter. The big thing is that whatever you're going to share and talk about, just share whatever you're about to talk about. And see, the other thing is even after the live, it's still going to be out there, so people can go back and watch the replay. So it works 2 ways, right? Even if you don't have a lot viewing, afterwards you could get some views, and somebody can come back and say, "Hey, you know what? I didn't get a chance to watch you live, but I went back and watched the video, and I really enjoyed the information that you put out there." So I wouldn't worry about low engagement, because that could be maybe one of the videos that gets a whole lot of traction later after it's recorded.
Yeah. Speaking of engagement, let's say hi to some folks out there. Matt Haas
All
in the
right.
house. How you doing, sir? Hello,
Hey,
hello.
hey.
Laura, ZZ Fitness. How are you? Hello, hello. I build capture. Hey, welcome. I don't know if you've been here before, but welcome. Hello, everyone. SCB. Hey, thanks for coming by. That's my go-to method to learn new stuff. Watch a YouTube video. Yeah, that's the answer. That is always the answer. Is how we go and learn new stuff. Is go. Stuart, hey, how are you doing, sir? Hi, awesome, fun things. Diana's saying hi. Hey, how are you? Welcome. Yep. Stuart saying hi to CC Fitness. Diana saying hello. Yep. Saying hi to everybody here. Hello, awesome, fun things. Stuart, hey, yep. So that was another question that Walter had, was how important
Okay.
was the replay value to your live streams? And you've kind of touched on that. How important early on was the replay value of your live streams?
Uh, I would say that I guess I didn't really look at it or focus on the replay value of the live stream because, like, well, I would say initially, I didn't, and I'm still learning of course, the YouTube algorithm and all the social media algorithms. And I think one of the things that we have to understand when it comes to these different algorithms is that they change. And that's something that I've kind of been focused on and talking about here lately, where, for maybe 3 months, you can say, okay, YouTube is this, but I think even recently YouTube just changed their algorithm. But that's the thing. They change the algorithm sometimes. So it's like in many cases, we could be chasing an algorithm and before you know it, they change it on us, right? So
Yeah.
I think for myself, I didn't really focus on the views afterwards, after the replay is out there. But I think that is something that to go back and watch, of course, to see how people are watching your videos, because that's how you'll learn what to do for your videos, and that's something I'm still learning when it comes to live streams. Just like I like how, Roy, you put the hook out there as soon as you come on, and that's something that I think we have to learn as creators, to try to captivate or catch the people as soon as it comes on, so that they'll know what we're talking about. But I would say early on, I didn't really pay attention to it. I'm trying to pay attention to it more now, I guess you could say, but I won't obsess over it after it's been out there, because it's out there now. So
Yeah.
the best thing we could do is just try to learn from it and just go from there.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see. Lisa Maria says, "Say it again for the ones in the back."
All
Hey,
right,
Tech
Lisa.
Troublemaker. Yeah, it's laughing at us there. It is, but we want the final result to be great. Yeah, that is so true. Uh, Laddies.
Oh, that's my wife. Yeah,
Oh, hey,
Latasha. Hey.
how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Yep. So thanks so much for coming by. So let's talk some more. How did you become comfortable in front of the camera, or have you
Ooh.
yet to do that?
Ooh. So that's a late one for me. Like, even though I did live streams, or I was doing live streams, and I would say for anyone struggling to be on camera, I would say include doing a live stream into part of that, getting comfortable on camera. Just maybe if it's once a week, and it don't have to be long. It could be 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever. But I would say include that. But I was still kind of uncomfortable being in front of the camera because I don't know. It's just something, just something that I struggle with, because let's face it, for some reason when you hit that record button, it's like, okay, I'm live now, or oh no, I'm recording. But recently, I would say within the past year or so, I really started to work on trying to get comfortable on camera. And recently, also, I created this ebook. It's an ebook I created, getting comfortable on camera, 30 days to getting comfortable on camera, and it shares, and this is what I kind of learned. It shares using short prompts to get comfortable on camera, where you're just recording for maybe 15 seconds, and you record for 15 seconds for 30 days. And just doing that, it helped me to practice getting comfortable on camera, because a lot of times we think, okay, if I'm recording, what am I going to say? Right. So this taught me that, hey, you know what? You can record on camera, just short little videos. And so that kind of helped me to, kind of hone in and perfect getting more comfortable on camera. And it's really helped me like recently, because it's like now I've noticed that just showing up and being more consistent, and that was the key to it. It was just being consistent, right? For 30 days, I'm going to record myself for 15 seconds. And I noticed that the more I did it, the easier it became. And the easier it became also for me to kind of record, and I noticed that my recordings, they got longer where I could talk about more things. And so I think the key is just making sure that you practice, right? Practice. And I think that's one of the things that make us uncomfortable, because when we first start out, I know for myself, I didn't like my voice. I don't like how I look. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to this, right? I don't like how I look. I don't like my voice. And it's like, oh, I don't like this, right? But the reason why that is because we haven't recorded ourselves enough.
Yeah.
We haven't. And so the more you record yourself, the more you listen to yourself and look at yourself, the more you realize, hey, you know what? I don't sound too bad. And the
Yeah.
other thing is that we got to understand that, look, we're all unique. We're all not going to sound like, I'm not going to sound like Roy. I don't look like Roy. But at the same time,
Thank
just
goodness.
be comfortable in right. Be comfortable with yourself. Be comfortable with who you are, and just show up. Just try to show up. And that's what really helped me, because you'll begin to forget about your flaws, because guess what? We all have flaws. We
Mhm.
all have issues that we don't like, or things we don't like about ourselves, but that's okay. But one of the reasons we're comfortable is because we haven't recorded ourselves enough. So the more you record yourself, the more comfortable you're going to become with your voice, how you look, how you sound. And you can also look and learn and say, okay, you know what? I do this. I use filler words, or I do this, and it'll help you. So the key is not trying to be perfect, but the key is just showing up. Just try to be consistent and show up. Don't try to be perfect, because we can't be perfect, but just try to show up. And you'll see it gets easier to record and be on camera, and you'll become more comfortable.
I build capture since I spend hours on video calls each day and still freeze up when I turn the camera on to record a YouTube video, which absolutely baffles me. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that is a challenge. I understand that. And it seems like you're saying, I wish I had a link to your book. We need to make sure everybody. I want to make sure everybody sees where you are and goes to your YouTube
yeah,
channel, and hopefully you got a link on your channel to that book, because it'd be good for everybody to go look at that. But yeah,
yeah.
I find the approach to just get your phone and just record, like you were saying, 15, 20 seconds, and talk to the camera, and hey, how you doing? Just be relaxed and treat the camera like it's your friend, that you're having a
Yes.
conversation with a friend. And that's what I had to do. That was how I got through live streams. I'm talking to my friend. If nobody showed up on the live stream to watch
Hmm.
it, that's fine. I'm gonna just keep on talking and cover what I want to talk about and that type of thing. So Walter
Absolutely.
says what really helped me was responding with video text messages instead of written text messages on my phone. Oh,
Ooh, that's a good one.
that's a good one. I like that. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
I've never
So
thought about that. That is a great one, Walter.
I haven't either. Wow, that is a good idea. Yeah. Lisa Maria says I get it completely. Yeah. Yeah. So
Hmm.
yeah, and I build capture. I relate. I am on Teams calls all day,
Oh
so
yeah,
it's like, oh man, So maybe you're just tired of being on video by the end of the day. That's why you don't want to do the YouTube video. But definitely keep pushing forward. You definitely keep pushing forward with that. Um,
yeah.
you know, so what is the number one thing that you think creators should focus on improving on?
Mm, another
Or you
great
can do top
question.
three. If you don't want to
No,
put one
no.
at the top.
Um, let's see. Things that creators should focus on. Okay, so I would say one is, and I guess we won't put them in any type of order. I would say one is trying to be more consistent. And again, like I've stated, that's one of the things I'm working on. But I think the more consistent you are, the more people will begin to find your information, and of course, the more consistent you are, the more the algorithm is going to start to push out your information. So I would say trying to be consistent. For myself, like I stated, being consistent, I felt that I needed to have a long, drawn out video. Whereas you don't have to have a long, drawn out video. Like I said, you can, if it's going to be a video, it can be a 30-second, it could be a 15-second video, it could be what you're doing today. I went to an event today and I experienced this. So it could be just something as simple as that you're sharing, that people become interested in. People like behind the scenes shots. So those are different ways that you can become more consistent. I think trying to think that we got to have a big drawn out video, a big nice edited polished video, doesn't have to be the case. So just find smaller ways to be more consistent. So I would say consistency is one. I know, like we just talked about, being on camera, that is a big thing. What I know a lot of creators where they struggle with it. Like I said, I've struggled with it, and I think just the more you try to be on camera, like you stated, and that's what I talk about in the little ebook that I created. All you need is your phone and just set it up and just start recording yourself. You don't even have to post it. But the thing about it is just make sure you're consistent, because the more you practice, the easier it becomes to talk to the camera. And so I would say
Yeah.
being on camera is another one that creators should try to focus on, because people want to see, people want to know who you are, who's the face behind this platform. So you
Mhm.
have to occasionally put yourself out there. I know there's some that do faceless channels as well, but if that's not the case for you, that's just something that you should just try to work on. Is just work on getting more comfortable on camera. And I would say third uh, is just to also just try to create value, and not just create things just to be creating things, but just make sure that what you're creating, it has a purpose, it has a value. Think about the people that you are serving. I don't know what everybody does, but just think about who your audience is, and just try to put whatever you're creating, just try to put something together to where it serves them, because I think that's where you'll find that you'll get a lot of more feedback, is where you are looking to create something that's valuable, something that's helpful to people. Of course, those in businesses, we know that businesses try to solve problems. So whatever that is, just put something out there that's going to serve, your audience, so that it also shows that you're not just putting something out there just that's just concerns you, but you're trying to help somebody else. And so people like that, and they like to see that in creators, where they're not just obsessing over themselves, but they
Mhm.
are sharing valuable information that's helpful to me. And so people likes to respond to that, and they'll show up. So I would say probably those three things. Be consistent, practice trying to be better on camera, and just create content that's got some value to it.
Yeah. What's your workflow? How do what's your workflow process? How do you come up with ideas for your videos?
So it's different for me. Like I do, of course, I do some Canva videos. So I guess you could say I have a like a video editing kind of background, because I used to record weddings. So I've been doing videos for some time. So my videos, they kind of center around trying to do right now, I would say, trying to create or help other creators create content that's easy to create, where it doesn't take you a whole lot of time to create content. So for me, it just depends on what I'm trying to create. If it's a Canva video, of course, I'm just trying to make this video, not make it too long, but make it as easy as possible. Of course, I like to spell things out where a 2-year old can understand what I'm doing, and I just try to make sure I explain things well enough to where someone understands it. And so for me, like, if I would say, like, for me, if I'm putting a video together, I already know, the video. You already know the video is going to have an intro, it's going to have a closing, right? So you got your intro, you got your closing. Of course, at the beginning, you want to try to have a hook that draws the people in. For myself, I like to record my intro and my closing first because I already know that's going to be probably the same, right? It just depends, especially the closing, right? The closing is going to be the same where, I'm doing a call to action. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all of those good things. So that's going to be the same. So I can record that first and just have it, ready or waiting. And then, of course, I can record the intro. And then, of course, if it's a tutorial, I'll just, do a screen record of whatever I'm doing and edit it. And then, of course, put the video together, get a thumbnail, and pretty much put it out there. That's a pre-recorded video. But I like to kind of do the intro, the closing, because, like I said, they're going to pretty much be the same. And then use as I call it, the meat of the video in between that, and do that probably last, because that's going to take the longest. And put it all together, and you got a pretty nice video.
So, okay, here's a tough one. What's the worst video you've ever made?
Ooh, the worst video I ever made.
Maybe you're lucky you never made a bad video.
Well, no. Oh no. I have plenty of bad videos. Some that I probably never posted, or I deleted it after I posted. I think we probably all have those, right? And I've heard some people say, you should just leave some of those videos out there, which I understand because you can learn from it. The worst video I've ever made. Man, let's see. It's I would say it's probably some of the early videos that I put out. I know for like the podcast that I started, just I would say some of the early videos where you just maybe you didn't really concentrate on the thumbnail, or you just kind of just putting something out there. But I have plenty of those. Like I said, I have some that I just I can't even post this. It's this bad. But no, I've had several bad videos, and I think a lot of us, I heard another creator say it, when we first start, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be cringe when we first start. And that's normal, because it's like, hey, it's just a part of growing as a creator. But after you look back at that, you'll see that, I've grown from that. Look at how I've improved. So it's not a bad thing, because you can look back and see how I have improved. And I guess that's the key to it, is we all have some bad videos, but just growing and learning from that is key.
Yeah. I've got some comments out here. I want to hit them up and see here. Let's see. Well, Strong's got a question. He says, have you guys gotten a chance to use the YouTube Ask Studio as part of your content creation process? So for those that don't know, it's buried in YouTube Studio, and it's an AI. It's basically Gemini, and you can ask questions and say, hey, what would be the next video? So have you used that?
I think I played around with it on one of my videos here recently. I think I even asked, what should I do next? And it was even sharing that, hey, you should create some reels, or you should go back and do a review of the video. I would say that I haven't used it enough, Walter. I would say that I do need to use it more, because YouTube is they're adding so much more that you can do to improve your videos. Even like you said, even asking, like, what should I do next? And it'll, based off the content you created, it'll share you some different videos. Hey, you should create this, you should create that. So, but I haven't used it enough. I would say that.
Yeah, I've played with it. I go to Gemini directly instead of going inside YouTube Studio and do it, but I have played with it. Laura CZ says, I was nervous the first time I went on, but now we are at 100 videos on YouTube, so 101 videos. So
awesome.
Her and Stuart have a channel together. It's called Stuart Video, and she and her husband Stuart, and sometimes Matt Haas will jump on there, and sometimes I'll go aggravate them too, but they have a channel, and so they're up to 101, so it's good stuff. Walter's got a comment. He said, my first video is probably my worst video I've ever made.
Something about those first ones, yes.
Yeah, the start of my channel. There's some bad ones out there. It's terrible.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm right there with you, Walter. Right there with you. That's really bad one.
Yeah. So the other thing is that we talked about this offline. It was are you a Christian content creator, or are you a
Oh
content creator
yes.
who happens to be a Christian?
Ooh.
Yeah, because I
Mm.
know that you blend some of your faith in, some of your
Yes.
videos are about faith, and so
Yes.
how do you decide how to blend that
Yes.
together?
Mm. That's an amazing question, and I would say I like. I think this question was even asked to Kirk Nugent, and I think it's true what he said is that when you are like a person of faith, Christian content creator, regardless to the content you create or even doing a live stream, those attributes are going to come out. They're going to come out because it's who you are. So people are going to know that you're a content creator because maybe you'll say, "Hell yeah, yesterday I was at church," or I got up this morning and I prayed, and or I was reading in my devotion. So a lot of those attributes are going to come out because you are uh, a Christian, right? Or you're a person of faith. And at the same time, I think there are times where we should create faith-based content because it
Yeah,
is who we are. And not only that, but we want to try and connect with others out there. We want to share some of that good, some of that light, some of that Christian faith with others out there. We want to try to reach others, just like when we talked beforehand. You, Roy, you and your wife, y'all do missionary work. So a lot of times we are trying to create things to put some just some faith and some Christian content out there because we do want to maybe try to reach others or help others because I
yeah,
mean let's face it, the world is it could be a hard thing. It's problems, it's trouble everywhere. So a lot of times those things it is a relief. It alleviates some of the things that go on in the world. I mean, as you know, we know that. And so we want to share those things, of course, with the world, with others, just so that, we can draw them and we can help them because it is who we are. So I would say, in some aspects, we fall on the both sides of that spectrum where we create Christian content and we are Christian creators.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. Um, coffee, energy drinks, or are you just pure stubbornness when it comes to content creation, getting the
Mm.
energy levels?
I don't drink coffee. I don't know. Well, I tried it, but for whatever reason, I can't do it. I will say that my wife sometimes she does have some energy drinks that I'll steal from her or I'll share with her when she's drinking it. I'll sometimes uh, get some of it, but I would say yeah, I don't drink coffee, and I do share some energy drinks sometimes my wife would have, but other than that, that is uh that is probably it.
Yeah. If you had to start over again on YouTube, would you change
Ooh,
anything at all?
yes, I would say that I would start out, of course, like I started out wanted to just kind of be behind the scenes. I didn't want to be out in front of the camera. So I would say that yeah, I would of course I would say I would probably watch more YouTube videos to learn more about YouTube and just the process itself because when I first started I didn't know much about YouTube. Like I said, I had to watch a video just to even figure out how to create a YouTube channel. So I would say yes, I would do it differently, or I would do it differently and just try to make sure I understand YouTube better than I started out because as I stated I didn't know much about YouTube, and even today I'm still learning YouTube. It's still much 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 more to learn about YouTube and creating videos and just trying to be better at a creator when it comes to YouTube. So yeah, I would start out definitely different. I would probably try to practice being on, since I know more, try to practice being on camera more beforehand, just so that I'm comfortable. Because I think that's the problem with putting videos out there. You're just not comfortable with video, so you stay away from it. So I would say
Yeah.
yes, I would do it a lot differently than I started out.
I want to make sure everybody knows who you are and your channel.
Okay.
So let's get out there. There's a link to it in the description. So
Sure,
you
man.
definitely need to go follow 24-Hour Boss. You need to go learn. He's got some great Canva tutorials that will help you with some of your social media stuff. And so you just need to get out there. And also he talks about, kind of encouragement and kind of pep talks to kind of get you excited to get out there and make YouTube videos and to get out there and, just get out of your own way. And so
Yep.
definitely go and visit his channel. And then I recommend you subscribe to it because it is a great channel. And I do recommend you go follow him. I've been following him for a while.
Appreciate it.
So um,
Yeah.
so he's one of those creators. I'm like, this is who you should go follow. You should go find him. You should go watch his videos. And so that's why I'm like, hey, I'm excited. I want you to come on here so I can tell anybody that doesn't know you that they should be following you, so they'll know. You know,
Yep.
yeah.
Appreciate it. Appreciate the
Any
follow.
last thoughts? Any last words you want to tell everybody?
Well, I would say at first, I appreciate you, Mr. Roy, for allowing me to be on your channel and just being able to share this space with you. Of course, I follow Mr. Roy. Been following him for a while too. I think one of the videos that caught me was when Roy was talking about. I think it was you were talking about YouTube and just how, just the how, and I think we talked about it, how you can kind of get obsessed over the YouTube maybe algorithm, or I'm not getting enough followers, not getting enough views. And if you really just not work on just putting value out there, it can kind of snag you, and you can kind of trip you up where you feel like I'm just not that great of a creator, when that's probably not the case. And of course, I've hit that stumbling block, and now of course I just focus on just trying to put some good content out there to help somebody else. And I don't really obsess over subscribers and views and different things like that, because also too, I think just like we're doing in this conversation, just showing up on a live stream like this is how I was able actually to connect with Mr. Roy, right? So I think that's another great way that we as creators can get encouragement, is where we connect with others. So
Yeah,
I would say that's probably one of the best things you can do as a creator, is connect with somebody else, show up when they go live, show up on their on their
yeah,
platform, and support them, comment. And you'll see that a lot of that will get reciprocated back to you. And that's what I've seen, and that's what's kind of helped me, because showing up on Roy's channel I've learned quite a bit just watching some of his videos. And it's even with him and other creators. So I think that's probably something that I could leave with the audience, is that don't obsess over algorithms and views and subscribers. Just try to put the best content you can out there, support others out there, and I'm certain when you do that, that'll get reciprocated back to you. So
yeah,
just know that the value that's in you. Of course, all of us are unique, and the voice you have, um, it needs to be shared. And there's somebody out there that wants to hear your voice. So don't think that you're out here all alone. So just keep putting out the great content and the value that you have, and you'll see that down the road you'll have some you'll have a nice trail, and as
yeah.
they say, receipts of information for people to come back and follow you.
Yeah, and that's a big thing for me is creators supporting other creators, because I'm very much in the mindset that that when the tide rises for everybody. I mean that's what I'm looking for, and that's what my goal is here on this channel, is to encourage others and
Yep.
everything. So thank you to everybody that showed up tonight to come watch us live, and if you didn't,
Appreciate
hashtag team replay. So. All right, don't
Yeah.
forget, go visit 24-Hour Boss. Thank you, Brian, so much for being on the show tonight,
Appreciate
man.
you,
I
Mr. Roy. Thank you.
really appreciate it. You didn't have to say anything nice about me because I didn't ask you to, and I'm not paying
No,
you.
no. No, you're not. No, but it's all true. But no, you do support others, so definitely support Tech Troublemaker. Definitely appreciate it. Appreciate the
Yeah.
opportunity, and I thank everybody for showing up as well. So appreciate you all
Yeah.
being here.
Let's see. My call to action is hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button and then go
Oh
visit his
yes,
channel.
please hit the like button. Please hit the like button.
All right.
I
That's
already
it.
hit.
That's
I
our
already hit the
show.
like button.
You already hit the like button. Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Yeah. All right. Well, there we go. Thanks for watching, everybody. And strangely, what happened here? My end screen doesn't have any video in it. But anyway, YouTube's going to tell you what to watch next. So go watch that. Whatever YouTube says watch next on my channel. That's what you should watch. Everybody have a great night. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.